So today we're going to do a little review of a 48-inch Zline. I've had the stove for a few months now. I'm an avid cooker, so I have used it hard already. I've used both of the ovens, which I've been very thankful with the size of the smaller one. I looked into Ilve and a few others, and you can't fit a 9x13 pan. You can fit one in this one. I do like that the racks roll out. This side is not convection. This is just a straight up electric oven. It works good for, you know, like putting a cast iron, it's not a crock pot. What do you call those? Anyways, like an enclosed Dutch oven. Thank you. In here, it fits great. I like using it for side dishes and things. I have baked a couple different things in the main oven. The convection bake is really nice. It is not a self-cleaning oven, so if that's something that you will need to have, then you're gonna have to upgrade into a much larger or more expensive 48-inch. Not very many of the pro ranges have the self-cleaning function, so you're gonna be cleaning this thing. Like, I clean it after every use, and it already, you know, it has some stuff built up on it. I haven't done any like deep cleans or anything, but the racks roll out, which is nice. They're very easy to move up and down. This is down kind of low. I do wish that Zline, like Kunch, I think, has one of their ranges has a gas powered, because it's a dual fuel, and they have a gas powered broiler, an infrared broiler, and I kind of wish I would have had that in this one, because this one's just an electric broiler, and it does come down kind of low, but it's not the end of the world. There's the convection fans. One of the things I don't like is you can't have the fans off. So if you turn this on, the fan will turn on for convection broil, convection bake, regular broil, regular low bake, and then high bake is like a fast, it heats up the oven really quickly. I kind of turn that on for preheating purposes, and then there's off. But even if you're not using convection, you can obviously hear that the fans are going, so I don't really care for that because you can't turn it off. I don't really know, I guess I haven't noticed a big difference whether or not the convection bake is on or off. But that is one of my pet peeves, because sometimes I don't want to listen to the fan. If I don't need it, I don't want to listen to it. And then for this one, this is the left oven. The fan also turns on. It's not as loud as the right oven, but it's not convection, but the fan does go, or of the blower, it blows air out of these top vents. So that was one of the things I don't care for. Remember to turn it off. Another thing, and I've seen some people complain, so the oven doesn't actually turn on until you turn the temperature. I've had some people complain about I've heard of, that you can't get, you know, as accurate temperatures, but it's fine. It goes up to about 500 some. I do wish that it went lower. Like, I would love that if it went down to like 100, you know, so like a keep warm function, but it doesn't. Not the end of the world. The top, I did upgrade to the brass burners. It's a $500 upgrade. It's not bad. I do think the brass looks nicer than the aluminum, but honestly, I've only used it a couple months, and the brass changed color significantly, and it is kind of hard to keep clean, but it's not a hard oven to take apart. It's got a few pieces, and then it's got this piece here. I mean, and I do wipe it down quite a bit, but it's just stained. I need to get like a real oven cleaner, but it's fine. You just need to make sure that there's a hole. There's a, right here. You need to make it in this hole. So it's not too hard to put back together. The regular one doesn't have this Z line. It's just black. So I did save the other one. Now you can buy the one that comes brass and doesn't come with the backup ones, but it was the same amount of money for me to order the regular RA48 and then order the brass kit separate. It was the exact same amount of money, except for I got a whole set of secondary burners. The brass does look nice though. I do like it. I have brass hardware, so that's why we did it. I kind of wish that this was stainless steel. I don't mind the black. I worry about it staining the enamel. I had another oven that I could never get the black enamel to look great, whereas I feel like stainless steel cleans up better, so I do wish the whole top was stainless steel versus this black enamel. The grates are nice. They're not chintzy. I went and saw an Ilve in person, and the tines on the grates were so thin that I saw ones in stock that they had that had the tips broken. And that was another reason why I decided not to go with Ilve, even though I fell in love with the way they look. But this one is not going to break. It's not cheaply made whatsoever. You know, they're heavy grates. They're easy to clean. I also like that there's no gaps, and they're not raised. Some of the ones I was gonna get a Cooch, but I didn't like how their grates sat up high above, and they didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like it. So I went with these. It does have this high burner. This one whistles. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera. If it's up high, it makes like a whistling sound. And the low, even though that looks low, I'm kind of disappointed that this one doesn't go from super high. I don't know why it's doing that now. See, now only the center one's burning, and I don't understand that. But that's not how it's supposed to go. Yeah, they're all burner. They all burn. And when you go all the way down to the low function, the outside ring does not turn off. I really wish, I've seen that on a couple other stoves where the large ring will turn off and just the center one will burn, and then you have like a simmer function all on one burner. Because if you're a home cook, you're not used to, you have one pot, and then when you're ready for it to simmer, you have to pick up the whole pot and put it on a simmer burner. And honestly, this one right here is the simmer, and it's still pretty freaking hot. It's hot. I am not used to going from a regular old Frigidaire cheap oven to this thing. This thing is so hot. It took me a while to learn to not burn stuff. And I would just have to get to the point where I would cook it. When I wanted it to simmer, I just had to turn it off and then just kind of turn it on to keep it warm and then turn it back off because this thing is hot. So I did wish that, you know, Zline had one that actually went pretty darn low so you could simmer things, especially if they had just one of these things go from really hot to really low. Yeah, that would be nice. As for the griddle, well, the griddle is taking some getting used to. It has one burner down there, but this thing does not heat evenly. I have let it sit and heat and heat and heat and heat so that the cast iron can all get hot. But this spot right here, these spots on each side of the burner, they burn things. They will burn things. So like if I do pancakes, if you put a pancake here and a pancake here, this side of the pancake towards the center will burn before this one's even really cooked. So I don't like that. So it's not the easiest griddle for, you know, to use. It doesn't have really high sides either, so sometimes I feel like I can only put certain things on it. It does have the grill side on that side. And yeah, I haven't used that either. I bet it would be nice, but I honestly, like for steaks and things, I like cast iron. There's nothing better than having a steak on a really hot, you know, in a really hot cast iron pan. It's my favorite, so I don't really find to use the grill very often. I might, like, if I were going to do something else, but I just haven't found the need for it. I do like the low profile vent in the back. Some of the ovens that I've seen have a really ugly vent system in the back, and I like that this one's really low profile. You don't really see it very much. Another thing about this is this flat spot right here. I looked at the Durasnow version of this, which is like a brushed look. And I thought, you know what, for $100 more, I don't feel like I'm really going to need it. But they say that the Durasnow, since it's kind of got a brushed look, it's a little lighter because it's brushed. It hides the scratches. And I'm like, oh, I've never really had a problem with scratches. I have problems with scratching. You know, like this flat spot is just such a nice spot to put spoons and things that I, you know, I've already scratched it quite a bit. You know, you can see. And this is with me trying to be careful. So I kind of wish I would have gotten the Durasnow version. It's too late now. It's got a nice oven lamp. The buttons are all really nice quality made buttons. The knobs are all stainless steel. That was another reason why I went with the Zline, because they definitely don't skimp out on the quality of the grates or the burners or the knobs. The handles are very nice. I have really liked just about everything about this. Now, we're still in our kitchen remodel. We're still trying to finish the floors, and I don't have countertops yet. They're coming in next week, but I thought I would give people an update because I just feel like when I was searching for which 48-inch oven to go with, there just was not enough pictures or information. Like, you can watch all the Zline pictures and videos online, but they really don't show what somebody who actually uses their oven wants to see. Like, I want to actually see what I'm buying. So I hope that helps, and good luck with your oven shopping. Okay, so another update. I have had many months go by since the last time I did the actual review video. I never did update on that. I never did actually post it. So I thought before I posted it, I would do an update. I took the original video you just watched in May 2021. It is now the end of December. It is the week of Thanksgiving. I just got done cooking a full Thanksgiving meal on this stove. And I have cooked at least 100 from scratch meals here in my farmhouse. You know, we've got the countertops and everything now. We're not completely done with the kitchen, but I've used this stove hard. So I have some updates on some things that I really like and things I don't like. I still say that I think it was a waste of time and money for me to get the brass burners, because, I mean, I need to get some brass out or something and clean them up, because I do clean my stove pretty regularly. I wipe it down after use, and I do still love the grates. The grates are nice. You know, that I like them. I do not like scrub them crazy. I allow, like, I mean, I get some oils on them or whatnot, but then, you know, it's kind of like cast iron. You let it, you know, the oil polymerize or anyways on it. So I don't like scrub and put the grates in the dishwasher or anything crazy. But I mean, I wipe down the inside almost all the time, and I try to wipe the grates off. And you can see they have stand up quite a bit. I mean, which is to be expected. I use this thing heavily. I still think this side whistles in comparison. In the previous video, I think that if you have this grate not on perfectly, the gas doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to do. It needs to be on perfectly. I still am frustrated that this is the lowest setting that it goes, and this is way too hot to have anything on simmer. The only simmer thing I have is this one and this one. Oop. Sometimes I'll use that one if I want the burn to not be so much in the middle. But like, you can see that this one technically is lower than this one. And even this one. Honestly, I would say that this one, well, not that one. That is probably my least used burner. I would use these two before I would use that one. But I have had the oven where I have a pot here, a pot here, a pot here, and a pot here going all at the same time. And you know what? I wasn't sure if I would use a bunch of burners, but when you're making a huge family meal and you're like boiling pasta here and you have a sauce pot here and you're making spaghetti sauce from scratch and then you're making a side dish or something over here. It is really nice. I do really like these. But like I said, this one, I don't like that it's this one. I feel like it should be this burner for this one. But I don't like that that's the lowest it goes. I mean, that is a hot stinking flame and it usually burns the center of the pot. So I just made candied yams over the weekend. And candied yams, the way I make them, they simmer in a pot for like 40 minutes to an hour, candying up. And I had to just keep turning this off. And a couple minutes later, turn it back on, turn it off and turn it back on. Because otherwise I was worried about it burning the bottom. Because it's a hot little flame and it's right in the center. So I don't like simmering. I've done the same thing with soups that I've made. I almost prefer that one because at least it gets the hot flame away from the center of the pot. That was my dishwasher, sorry. So I don't really like the simmer. I have seen other ones that do like the hot double burner and then it goes down to a small simmer. And I wish this one did it, but it doesn't. So that's my pet peeve with the burners. Otherwise, like I said, I don't know if it's worth it to get the brass. My other pet peeve, when you clean this thing, it's easy to take the grates off. However, who decided that there needed to be this gap in between the stainless and the ceramic coated, whatever it is? I mean, here I am saying I clean super good, and I feel like I do, but you know, when you use it hard, you use it hard. But there is a good 1/8 of an inch gap. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to get stuff out of there. So I don't like when you're like wiping this out. Food just makes it into this little crevice. And then it's gone. I mean, you better have a high-powered vacuum to get stuff out of there. Because it's a big gap that you can literally stick stuff in. I don't know how to get it out. Honestly, I don't. So I don't like that because it's the same thing with back here. I mean, you wipe this thing out with a rag. Don't push anything down in that hole. I still like the fact that this is like a low profile vent. I never notice if the vent is on or off. I hope it's on. I don't know where it vents to because it doesn't have any escape in the back. So I don't even know if it does anything now that I think about it. It's not like there's a place to hook up in the back of the oven that like this sucks, you know, fumes or anything into it. I don't know what it does, honestly. As for the griddle, now, if you are not some person who uses cast iron, I don't know if you would like this. I use cast iron, so I don't hate it because I already have like 4 cast iron pots I have to keep well seasoned. But keeping a flat or even a griddle, I feel like it's easier keeping it seasoned than this thing. Because the griddle is pretty small. And you can, I don't know if you can see it on camera. I feel like I haven't used it in a day or two. And I usually wipe it down with oil afterwards. But you can see that this spots over here do not get hot enough to actually like do anything with the oil to polymerize it or season it. And when you cook a pancake, I mean, you can see the ring. It's super hot here and super hot here. It's medium hot in the middle, and on the edges it's not hot near enough. So like if you wanted to do a pancake and a pancake, well, it'll do it. Just don't make them big because you need to be in right here and you need to be right here. Because if it's a big enough pancake that it's outside of this ring right here, half will be raw-ish looking and half will be almost burnt looking. So it is not evenly heating at all. And I feel like on the, here, see, I wipe it down with grease when I'm done. And then I wipe it down again before I do something else. So that's why it's greasy, because cast iron you need to keep like that. But I don't feel like, I mean, like I use this thing primarily for pancakes and French toast and those types of things. and you have to keep it really close to the center cooking area. It's not infrared or anything special. When they say the cast iron heats up evenly, it doesn't. It totally does not heat up evenly. So keep that in mind. I've never used the griddle side on the back side, and I thought I would love this thing so much that I needed two, and I ordered a second one, which you can order. I have never used it because if this thing heated up evenly like I thought it would, I would probably use it, but I don't. I don't use it. I mean, I do for breakfast foods, but I don't cook any. It doesn't have high enough edges, I think, for me to do much else. I have fried like a hamburger on it when I don't want to get like the grill out, but I still, for like steaks and other things, man, I pull out a real cast iron on this super hot burner right here. These are awesome. I still agree with the fact that I should have went with the Durasnow, because you can see teeny tiny scratches, and I feel like I'm pretty careful with this thing, and it's not even a year old, and you can see all the scratches for me putting spoons down and setting spatulas down. I should have went with the Durasnow, because I'm pretty sure they advertise the Durasnow as like if you have a scratch you can buff it out and it hides in the Durasnow. So that's my pet peeve with the burners and the griddle. As for the oven, I like the oven. It is, you have to clean it, and now so you can see where I've wiped it down. I mean, I just use Norwex wet cloth, so that's probably why it looks like that. I don't use the glass one when I should. I do try to wipe out the stove pretty regularly, but I mean, I also cook bacon and roasts and other things. So you can see that it's spotted now, which is fine. I don't mind it so much. I have to wipe out the bottom because it's not a self-cleaning oven, which I explained that in the earlier part of the video. I don't like this gap right here between the glass and the stainless, because it's really easy, I guess, sometimes for me to drip stuff into this little gap. And that's where I've got this huge drip mark that's on the back side of the glass that I can't get to. I don't like it, because even if I super clean all this up, I cannot clean this up. It's stuck there because it's on the other side of the glass. Which isn't the end of the world. I mean, whose inside of their oven looks awesome forever? It doesn't. I just wish that, you know, something as simple as that could be covered up. But otherwise, I like the oven. It does pretty well. You know, I remember agonizing forever over the oven, whether I wanted a gas oven because I cook a lot of meat, or if I wanted a convection oven because I like to bake. Well, you know, honestly, does it make a huge difference? I don't know. I have cooked a 13 by 9 inch sheet cake, double layer sheet cake in this oven, and it did pretty good. I have also cooked other things like pizzas. I have cooked pies. I don't think it cooks evenly, even with the convection bake on. You can definitely tell, especially on a pizza. I usually use a pizza steel. And the backside, even with convection bake on, burns in comparison to the front. So I have to rotate everything about halfway through. So if I bake anything, I open it up, I rotate it, and I turn it, which is not any different than my old gas oven. So I don't understand why they call it a convection bake, because I feel like that's the whole point of a convection electric gas. I'm sorry. That's the whole point of a convection electric oven, is that it heats evenly with the fans on, and it's electric, yada, yada, yada. It heats with a dry heat, and it's super even, and that's why it's awesome for baking. Don't expect everything to be professional and perfect with this thing, because, I mean, you need to spend the $12,000 apparently for a Wolf, because this is not, it is not even. I mean, I bought this thing specifically so I could have the second oven and not have to have a wasted space in my kitchen for a full double oven in the wall or in a special cabinet. That's why I bought it, and it's still great for that. But this oven is not better than my old cheap Frigidaire residential cooking oven that was gas. I still have to rotate crap, which isn't the end of the world, but just don't expect a professional convection baking oven that's electric. And I mean, it is electric, it's convection, the fan turns on. It's not even cooking though, so don't stress about it if that's what you're worried about. Now, it's nice that I could have 2 cookie sheets of turkey, deboned turkey, in this oven for Thanksgiving. And in this oven, I could cook 2 9x13 pans, even the Pyrex with like the long handles on the edge, fit that whole sucker in there. So I do love that. That's another reason why I didn't go with Ilve, because you cannot fit a 9x13 pan in an Ilve. Don't try. Don't even attempt it. So I still like that this is great for that. And it's not a convection on this side. It's just an electric oven, which is fine. It does fine for roasting and things like that, heating up the sides. That's what I use it for. Things for the Dutch oven, side dishes. When I don't want to heat that whole one up over there with electric, I'll use this one, which it doesn't get used near as often. But otherwise, I can't complain. For the price tag in comparison to a Wolf or other expensive generic type brand stoves, this is around $5,000. It's beautiful. I have a farm with eggs that I collect, and we're still not done. But I love this stove. I'm very happy with it. It is good quality. I don't feel like anything's gonna break on it. There's just a few things I would tweak. There's a few things that I would tweak to get it to be what I would want it to be. I mean, I don't know. I was debating between this and a Kuntz, and this one seemed like it was more well built and it looked nicer, but I think the Kuntz did more like chef approved cooking quality. I think this one is pretty. I wonder if the Kuntz would be better quality cooking wise, because they had the gas broiler, the infrared broiler in the oven. I don't hate the electric one. It does fine. I'm not a chef, but part of me wondered if I wouldn't have liked the infrared broiler. And they also had, I think, the infrared griddle. I still didn't like the grates and stuff on that one, but they also, I don't know, I'd have to see it in person, which of course you can't. It's hard to find a dealer with one. But anyways, this is the review I have on the Zline 48-inch. I think it's an RA 48 symbol model. I like it. I wouldn't change it, but there you are.